Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Sight. And this is a new horror sci-fi thriller that is from writer-director Jason Eric Perlman. And after a terrifying encounter at an abandoned government test site, a small-town family man begins seeing haunting visions of a past that threatens to destroy his present. And this film stars Jake McLaughlin as Neil, who is desperate, trying to keep his family together with his wife, played by Ariel Kebbel, and he has his boss, played by Theo Rossi, and Rossi and McLaughlin's characters go into this place and find this particle collider, and it starts ripping down the fabric of space-time, and they start seeing these Japanese people go in this internment camp, going through all of these horrible things, and anytime they come in contact with somebody, they start seeing these visions. And unfortunately, Neil's encounters with his son causes these visions that leads to a horrible accident and causes a significant damage to his son. And he's desperate to try to get money to get a surgery, and he's trying to battle these visions while trying to make the money. And this film, I think, is pushing almost 2 hours, and you really feel it. There's certainly moments throughout this film where it's really dragging and feels like this is stretching out the story. Because when you actually take a step back, there's not a whole lot of story here in terms of narrative beats, but it gets so convoluted so quickly and frustratingly that, one, I don't know how well this film does in terms of representing these horrible things that happen to these Japanese people, very reminiscent of actual things, and it feels kind of insensitive in terms of how this film leverages those things. It never feels like it gives that the focus. It's all about this very mundane family drama, and they're just leveraging these events through these science fiction elements to cause conflict and challenges in this man's life. And you never really buy into how significant these conflicts are. And he has this tension with his boss. And after a while, it just gets a bit tedious and starts going in directions like you have Neil's ex, who's one of his college friends, who winds up going in this place too at some point and starts getting these visions as well. And they're starting to uncover, having to do research through, a cop, and finding somebody that was in this research facility. And you're having all of these points that really aren't advancing this so much as, what's the point of all of this? And how that film leads to its outcomes feels kind of anticlimactic and not really satisfying. It kind of just resets a lot of things where it's just then why did we go on this whole entire journey in the first place? And it's these elements that it feels like the film at the last moment shifts its focus, and then you realize then what was the whole entire point of all this trauma that all these characters were following along went through. And there's some choice things, I really hated the character of his boss, and not just because he's an antagonistic person, how he fits into this story and some of the avenues that the film goes in just feel so weird and don't feel like they fit right in the story. And acting wise, I think McLaughlin does his best, but he's kind of a bland protagonist. Rossi, there's something off about his performance, and I've seen this happen in a few of his performances where I just don't believe what he's trying to get across. And there's not really any strong performances in particular in this film to really elevate it. And from like a visual standpoint, this film's very like grays and dark colors and lighting, and it just feels like it lacks any kind of real visual kind of identity from a filmmaking standpoint, and feels very blah when you watch the film and how these things come about, and its use of effects for all of these visions. It's not particular, like some of it looks very clunky and looks very low budget, and this film in general just feels like a bunch of ideas that were kind of thrown at the wall, and then not really a cohesive driving narrative to get us from one place to the next, or just from the start to the finish. And how it all plays out, the choices that they make narratively, just kind of makes this whole film feel a little useless and really unsatisfying. But those are my thoughts on Sight. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.